Hello students, welcome to the course on analog and digital communication systems, and the course code is EC 501. This is the course for BTech 5th semester EC students. Myself, Dr. Shurojit Bosak, Assistant Professor of EC Department, Guru Nanak Institute of Technology, Kolkata. And this is my official email address. You can contact with me with this email ID. In the last class, we have started the digital modulation techniques. What are the types of digital modulation techniques are present? Basic types. And then discuss on the hierarchy of digital modulation techniques. And we have also completed coherent, binary, amplitude shift keying, or which is abbreviated as BASK, and discuss basic introduction on coherent binary phase shift keying. So let us start lecture number 2 from the module 5, that is digital modulation techniques. And the topics for today's class are coherent binary phase shift keying. Already we started, just a brief idea has been given in the last class. Then geometric representation of BPSK signal, error probability of BPSK, generation and detection of BPSK signal, power spectrum, that is power spectral density of BPSK, and at last want to solve some numerical problems on BPSK. And the lesson objective of today's topic are, first one is the study various digital modulation techniques which can compute the bit error performance and compare their advantages and limitations. And the second lesson objective is study signal vector representation of various digital modulated signals by creating signal constellation. So this topic is mapped with CO number 2 and CO number 5. So let us start lecture number 2 from the module 5, that is digital modulation techniques, with the topic of coherent binary phase shift keying. So as you know that in BPSK or coherent binary phase shift keying, when we transmit the binary symbol 1 to 0 or 0 to 1, then there will be a phase shift of 180 degree. That means from the name that it is a phase shift keying. That means phase of the carrier is varied according to the amplitude of the message signal or baseband signal. So how phase can vary in BPSK? So from 1 to 0 or 0 to 1, whenever we want to transmit 1 to 0, or whenever there is a transition from 1 to 0 or 0 to 1, then there must have a phase shift of 180 degree. So suppose for signal 1 or binary symbol 1, which is represented as say S1t. So what is its mathematical expression for binary symbol 1? Say it is square root of 2 EB by TB into cos 2 pi FCT, where EB is the transmitted signal energy per bit and TB is the symbol duration. FC is the carrier frequency and small t, which belongs to 0 to TB. TB means 1 bit duration. So S1t is represented, if S1t or symbol 1 is represented by the expression say S1t, then for symbol 0, which is represented as say S2t, can be written as say square root of 2 EB by TB. That part is basically the amplitude. Square root of 2 EB by TB, that represents basically the amplitude. And say S2t is cos 2 pi FCT plus pi. So from 1 to 0 transition, there is a phase shift of pi. So it is basically minus root over 2 EB by TB cos 2 pi FCT. So to ensure that each transmitted bit contains an integral number of cycles of the carrier wave, the carrier frequency FC is chosen equal to NC by TB, where NC is a fixed integer. So this is the mathematical representation of VPSK signal, that is for symbol 1 and for symbol 0. So from this expression, can you say that how many number of basis functions are required to draw the signal space diagram of VPSK signal? Yes, one can easily say from this expression that only one basis function is required to represent the BPSK signal into its corresponding signal space diagram or constellation diagram. So there is required only one basis function of unit energy, which is say phi 1t, where phi 1t can be defined as square root of t 2 by TB cos 2 pi FCT, where t belongs to 0 to capital TB. Now using phi 1t, one can easily express S1t and S2t in terms of phi 1t. So S1t is say this term square root of 2 by TB cos 2 pi FCT. So this is the basis function phi 1t. So S1t can be represented as plus root over EB phi 1t, and similarly S2t can be represented as minus root over EB into phi 1t. See, just S1t is plus root over EB into phi 1t and S2t is minus root over EB into phi 1t, where t belongs to 0 to TB. That means BPSK signal in the signal space is one dimensional. It is like ASK signal, it was also an one dimensional. So the constellation diagram obviously for BPSK is one dimensional. That means n equal to 1 or only one basis function is required for with signal constellation, and consisting it has two message point, one for symbol 1 and other is for symbol 0, say S1T and S2T. Therefore, how to draw the signal space diagram? The question is how to draw, or better to say, in the basis function, on the basis function, where is the message points exist? So to know the coordinates of the message points, how can you know the coordinates of the message point? You have to determine S11 and S21. S11 means projection of signal S1T on basis function phi 1T, and similarly S21 is the projection of signal S2T along the basis function phi 1T. So S11 can be defined as integration over the limit of 0 to TB, because T belongs to basically 0 to TB, S1T phi 1T dt. You know that S1T is equal to square root of EB into phi 1T. So therefore, square root of EB into phi 1 square T dt. So integration of phi 1 square T dt basically 1, because of the first property of orthogonality, because basis function should maintain the orthogonality property. That means the first property is normalized to have unit energy. That is why integration of 0 to TB phi 1 square T dt is 1. So it only, so S11 is basically plus root over EB. Similarly, S21 can be determined as, say, integration of 0 to TB S2T phi 1T dt. Now again S2T is basically minus root over EB into phi 1T. So again phi 1 square T dt, when it is integrated phi 1 square T dt. So this part is basically minus root over EB. So now we know the coordinates of the message points along the basis function phi 1T. Now we can easily draw the signal space diagram or the constellation diagram of BPSK. See, this is the signal space diagram or constellation diagram of BPSK. See, this is the basis function, which is a one dimensional, only phi 1 exists. Along the phi 1 axis, the message point 1 belongs at, the coordinates of the message point 1 is plus root over EB. See, and the coordinates of the message point 2 see in the last slide, S21 is minus root over EB. So coordinates of the message point 2 exist at point say minus root over EB. So this is the signal space diagram or constellation diagram for BPSK signal. And correspondingly for message point 1, say the time domain signal is S1T, which is say it starts from square root of 2 EB by TB, positive amplitude, cos signal. Now see for the message point 2, say the signal is S2T, that means transmission of binary symbol 0. So in that case, see the amplitude. Here it starts from negative amplitude, that is from minus root over 2 EB by TB. That means S1T and S2T, their 180-degree phase shifted waveform. That is why these two waveforms are called antipodal signal. Okay, antipodal signal. So this is the time domain waveform for say symbol 1 and say symbol 0, binary symbol 0. And correspondingly, we can draw the signal space diagram or the constellation diagram. Now we move for the calculation of probability of symbol error, which is very much important for BPSK signal. So now we move for the calculation of error probability for BPSK signal. Now see in the earlier diagram, the set of point closest to message point 1 at plus root over EB, that means its mean value is plus root over EB, and the set of point closest to message point 2 at minus root over EB. So this is accomplished by constructing the mid of the line joining these two message points, which is called the decision region. So decision region here present at point 0, and the decision region and the two regions is marked. One is called the region Z1 and other is called the region Z2. Now for error probability calculation, first of all, actually your task is you have to find out within each bit interval whether the transmitted symbol was plus 1 or 0. You have to take the decision. Now, what is the rule for making a decision in favor of symbol 1 or 0? What is the rule? How one can decide that symbol 1 was transmitted or symbol 0 was transmitted? So deceiver decide that S1T was transmitted, say S1T means for binary symbol 1. If the received signal point falls in region Z1. Again, I am repeating, it's very important. The receiver decides that S1T or binary symbol 1 was transmitted if the received signal point falls in the region Z1. Similarly, receiver decides that S2T was transmitted. S2T means binary symbol 0 was transmitted if the received signal point falls in the region of Z2. So in that way, one can decide in favor of symbol 1 or symbol 0. See, decide that signal S1T, that is binary symbol 1, was transmitted if the received signal point falls in region Z1. And similarly, decide that signal point S2T or binary symbol 0 was transmitted if the received signal point falls in region Z2. So this is the rule for the decision in favor of symbol 1 or symbol 0. Now you have to find out in which condition the error occurs. Why the error occurs? Then only you can calculate the error probability. So two kinds of erroneous decision may be made. How? Suppose that in this figure, suppose that signal S2T was actually transmitted, but the noise is such that the received signal points falls in region Z1. Then according to the decision rule, the deceiver takes in favor of symbol S1T, but actually S2T was transmitted, then an error will occur. And similarly, that suppose that, just reverse, suppose that S1T or binary symbol 1 was actually transmitted and the noise is such that the received signal point falls in region Z2. Then according to the decision rule, the receiver takes decision in favor of symbol 0 or S2T. In these two, then obviously the error will occur. See, here also written signal S2T, suppose that the signal S2T is transmitted, but the noise is such that the received signal point falls inside region Z1. Therefore, the receiver decides in favor of signal S1T, and alternately, suppose that the signal S1T is transmitted, but the noise is such that the received signal point falls inside region Z2. Then receiver decides in favor of signal S2T. Then an error, again an error will come. Now we want to calculate this probability of error. So to calculate the probability of making an error, of the first kind, the decision region associated with symbol 1 or signal S1T is described by, say, Z1. So Z1 basically whose range is 0 to infinity. So X1 is a random variable which exists between 0 to infinity. Therefore, the observable element X1 which is related to Xt is like that. X1 is equal to the integration of 0 to Tb Xt phi 1t dt. Now, the conditional probability density function of random variable X1, given that symbol 0, that means S2T was transmitted in the first case. See, in the first case, in this situation, first I want to calculate the error probability, then move for the calculation for the second case, and then average for both the cases. Then only we can find the average probability of symbol error. So first, I want to calculate the error probability for the first case. That means, suppose that S2T is actually transmitted, but the noise is such that the received signal point falls inside the region Z1. So that means it's a conditional probability. It depends upon some condition. So condition here, the PDF is a conditional probability for random variable X1. What is the condition? That symbol 0 or S2T was actually transmitted. And we have assumed that here the noise is in the starting of this chapter, we have already told that here the noise is assumed as a AWGN noise, white Gaussian noise, whose perspectral density is N0 by 2 or variance is N0 by 2. So which follows basically a Gaussian distribution. So according to the Gaussian distribution, this PDF is basically 1 by root over 2 pi into variance square. So variance is N0 by 2. So 2 cancel. Then here pi into N0. 1 by root over pi into N0 into exponential e to the power minus this term. X1 is the random variable or observable variable, observable element. So X1 minus X minus mean value. What is the mean value if symbol 0 was transmitted? Which is basically S21. Already here I calculate it. Here it is basically S21. See here, this is the mean value minus root over EB. So X1 minus its mean whole square by 2 into variance square. So variance square is again N0 by 2. 2 cancel, only N0 term is present. So 1 by root over pi into N0 exponential minus 1 by N0 X1, and it is S21. Its value is basically minus root over dB. So here plus sign comes, X1 plus root over EB whole square. Clear? Now, from this is the PDF. From here, how one can calculate the probability of error when, what is the condition here? When 1 is received and 0 was actually transmitted. So this probability of error is denoted as P10. P10 means it is a conditional probability of the receiver deciding in favor of symbol 1. That means 1 is received given that symbol 0 was actually transmitted. So this error probability is denoted as P10 and which is defined as integration of the conditional probability. And what is the integration limit? Obviously, 1 is received. That means received signal must be fall inside region Z1. What is the range of Z1? 0 to infinity. So integration limit is over 0 to infinity. Therefore, we know the conditional probability. Already we calculate it in the last slide. See here, this is the conditional probability. Just to integrate it over the interval of 0 to infinity. Now the question is how this can be integrated. Let us assume that, now this is simple mathematics. Let us assume that 1 by root over n0 into x1 plus root over EB is Z. Just x1 plus root over EB by root n0 is say Z. So from here easily we can calculate dz equal to say something into dx1. So you can accordingly you can change the integration limit and this dx1 also. So after changing the limit of integration, this P10 may be rewritten as 1 by root over pi. The integration limit is root over EB by n0 to infinity e to the power minus z square dz. Now this term is shown here as ERFC function. That means it is called complementary error function. What is complementary error function? This is defined as just complement. That means if the value of the argument is small, then error probability will be large. And if the argument of ERFC function is higher, then the error probability will be smaller. So ERFC function is basically defined as, mathematically expressed as 2 by root over pi, integration limit is x to infinity e to the power minus t square dt. So this x limit is ERFC x. So in that way, this P10, that probability of error when 1 is received and 0 is actually transmitted, can be calculated as half ERFC into root over EB by n0, this part, root over EB by n0. Okay. ERFC means complementary error function. Now, if we move for the second condition for erroneous decision, that means probability of error when 0 is received and 1 is actually transmitted. That means whenever S1T was transmitted, but the noise is such that the received signal point falls in the region of Z2, then again error will occur, and this error, if we calculate this error, which will be exactly same value as for P10. How you can calculate it? Just to give you some small suggestion. For just the limit of the integration will be minus infinity to 0. If we calculate P of error probability when for 0, 1, P01, then limit of the integration must be minus infinity to 0, and the mean value is actually plus root over EB, and all other are same. Therefore, P01 also has the same value as P10. Now, what is the average probability of symbol error? Just averaging it. So, average probability of symbol error, or it is called bit error rate for coherent PSK signal, is denoted as PE, which is half ERFC square root of EB by N0. This is very much important expression for BPSK signal. So, what is the average error probability for BPSK signal is half ERFC square root of EB by N0. Now, for a fixed noise or fixed noise variance, if we increase the signal energy, that means in the constellation diagram they are located far away. In that case, the error probability will be smaller, will be less. So, this is all about the error probability calculation for BPSK, coherent BPSK signal. Next, how can we generate a BPSK signal, and how can we detect the BPSK signal? So, generation and detection of coherent BPSK signal. See, remember the first expression of BPSK signal. See these two expressions for symbol 1 and symbol 0. S1T is like that, square root of 2 EB by TB cos 2 pi FCT, and S2T that represents symbol 0, which is minus root over 2 EB cos 2 pi FCT. So, here the input signal for BPSK generation is the unipolar energet signal or on-off signal. But here that is plus sign, and for symbol 0 is minus sign. That means it is basically a plus minus 1. So, this is basically a polar signaling. So we are supplying the unipolar energy signal, but the operation performed is on polar signaling. So in the block diagram, somewhere is unipolar to polar converter is required because the operation performed on polar signaling. So that is why a polar non-return to zero encoder is required first. Then simply multiplication, balance modulator or product modulator is required. Now move. See here, binary energy data or unipolar energy data, then a polar non-return to zero encoder is required. Then simply balance modulator or product modulator is required, where we have given the input is phi 1t or the carrier function, carrier signal is square root of 2 by TB cos 2 pi fct. And finally, we get the BPSK signal, say ST. Now detection. How BPSK signal can be detected or demodulated? Since we know that this is basically a coherent detection. Coherent detection means a synchronous carrier is required for the demodulation. Synchronous carrier means same phase, same frequency carrier, which is required for transmission. So here, basically, this XT signal, incoming BPSK signal, which is multiplied by the carrier signal phi 1t. So multiplied, then it goes to a integrator circuit. So multiplier followed by integrator. That means this is basically a correlator circuit, and the performance of the correlator circuit is exactly identical with the performance of the match filter. So after the integrator, what will be the output? So if it is multiplied by cos 2 pi fct, so it is cos square theta. So half into 1 plus cos 2 theta. So cos 2 theta, that is cos 4 pi fct term is rejected by the integrator circuit. Only DC term can pass. So after correlator circuit, X1 basically a DC term. And from this DC signal, then how can you know that whether the symbol 1 or symbol 0 was transmitted? Just take a decision device and we set a threshold. Here we set a threshold, set 0. Then the receiver takes decision in favor of symbol 1 if this signal exits threshold, and if this signal is below the threshold, then receiver takes decision that 0 is transmitted. So in that way, BPSK coherent detection can be done. So this is the block diagram for BPSK transmitter, and this B, figure number B, is the BPSK receiver. Next is the power spectrum or bandwidth. What is the bandwidth or power spectrum, PSD, power spectral density of BPSK signal? to calculate the BPSK power spectrum, first you have to define a symbol shaping function which is denoted as, say, GT, which is basically nothing but your amplitude here, square root of 2 EB by TB, where T is defined as 0 to TB, otherwise it is 0. Now the question is, what is the PSD? How much amount of bandwidth is present for BPSK? What is the PSD, power spectral density of BPSK? See, the beauty of this chapter is all the chapters in digital communication that are we covered in this chapter, we require the knowledge of all the chapters that are previously covered, such as line coding, PCM, signal space analysis, all are required. This is the beauty of digital modulation techniques. So how can you calculate the spectrum? How can I write here this expression? Can you tell me? Again, see, in the last figure, already I told that a polar energized encoder is required to generate a BPSK signal. So actually BPSK perform on polar energized signal, even we applied unipolar energized signal as the input. So actually this signal, when polar, you know the PSD of polar energized signal. So just it is multiplied by cos 2 pi FCT. So the spectrum of BPSK is nothing but the spectrum of polar energized signal. So which is basically the spectrum of polar energized signal is a square TB into sine square pi FTB by pi FTB whole square, or better to say a square TB into sin square pi FTB. So a square was the amplitude. So here is the amplitude, square root of 2 EB by TB. This, now this part is square and TB cancel. So only 2B is present here. So 2B into sine square pi TB by pi TB into F by pi TB F whole square. So sine square x by x square. So it is basically sinc pulse, sinc square x. So 2 EB sinc square pi TBF. So this is the plot, PSD plot for BPSK signal. Here in the y-axis, it is normalized PSD by 2 TB, so that the maximum amplitude is 1, and it follows a sinc pulse, and in the x-axis it is normalized frequency by F into TB. So the first cutoff point of the primary lobe is at 1, and second cutoff point is like that too. So the BPSK, this is the spectrum of BPSK signal. So this is all about BPSK signal. Next, I want to solve a numerical problems based on BPSK concept. This is the problem. The signal component of a coherent PSK system is defined by ST equal to, this is a very interesting problem, ST equal to AC K sine 2 pi FCT plus minus AC into square root of 1 minus K square into cos 2 pi FCT. See the expression carefully. So this is the signal for coherent PSK system or PSK signal, where T belongs to 0 to TB. The plus sign here, the plus sign corresponds to symbol 1 and minus sign corresponds to symbol 0. The first term represents a carrier component. So the first term is basically the carrier component included for the purpose of synchronizing the receiver to the transmitter. So first term is basically the carrier and second term is plus sign for symbol 1 and minus sign for symbol 0. Now the question is, now draw a signal space diagram for the scheme described here. And second problem is, show that in presence of additive white Gaussian noise of 0 mean and power spectral density N0 by 2. In that case, the average probability of error is, say, PE, which is half ERFC into square root of EB by N0 into 1 minus K square, where EB is half into AC square into TB. So how to solve the problem? Now first problem is, first draw the signal space diagram corresponding to this expression. Now how many numbers of basis function are required? Is it one dimensional for, as it like a conventional PSK signal? See, this first part is the carrier signal, and here in the second part is corresponds to plus sign represents for symbol 1 and minus sign represents for symbol 0. So naturally, the in the signal space diagram is two-dimensional. See the answer. Yes, one is this quadrature sine wave, that means your carrier wave, y-axis is for carrier wave, and these two in phase cosine term, that is for symbol 1 and symbol 0. So this is basically a two-dimensional signal space diagram. So y-axis corresponds to your quadrature carrier, that means basically your carrier signal first part, and these two part represents plus 1 and 0 symbol. So the signal space diagram differs from that conventional PSK signaling scheme in that it is two-dimensional with a new signal point on the quadrature axis. This is the new part. That is the carrier part that comes due to carrier, which is ACK into TB by 2. Now move for the second part. Second part is what? In presence of AWGN noise with 0 mean and PSD N0 by 2. The average probability of error is like that. So average probability of error, that means it should go the receiver section. See, in the receiver section, what happened? See the incoming BPSK signal ST plus WT. Then it should pass first the multiplier circuit followed by integrator. In the multiplier circuit, where a local carrier, since it's a synchronous or coherent detection, so local carrier is supplied whose frequency is again fc cos 2 pi fct. When it is multiplied and after integrate it, what is the output? See the expression of ST again. See, this is the expression of ST. Now, when it is multiplied with cos 2 pi fct, so first term 2 sin theta cos theta, that is sin 2 theta, sin 4 pi fct. So this term is rejected by the integrator circuit, and here plus minus cos square 2 pi fct. Cos square 2 pi fct, that means half into AC by 2, half into 1 plus cos 2 theta or 4 cos 4 pi fct. So again cos 4 pi fct term is rejected by the integrator circuit. So only DC term can be passed through the integrator circuit. So the term is plus minus AC by 2, 1 minus root over of square root of 1 minus k square into TB for the integrated term 0 to TB. So this term is present by multiplying ST with cos 2 pi fct after the integrator. And for WT noise term, this term is present, that is 0 to TB WT cos 2 pi fct. So this is the signal at the decision device input. So this is the signal L, which is the input of the decision device. And after that, from here, how can you determine the error probability or average probability of error? Just following the same procedure for conventional PSK. Therefore, following a procedure similar to that used for evaluating the average probability of error for a conventional PSK system, we find for this system the average probability of error is like that. So which is PE, denoted by PE, which is half into ERFC into square root of EB into 1 minus k square by N0, where EB is equal to half into a square TB. So just following the conventional PSK system, you can easily calculate the average probability of error. So this is all about BPSK, coherent BPSK signal. And this type of problems naturally comes into GATE examination. Okay. So in the next class, we will discuss on another type of modulation scheme, another type of PSK modulation scheme, which is called quadrature phase shift keying. So let us stop here. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now I am ending today's session.